Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and start. I wanted to go over these handouts with you instead of just handing them to you because there's some important stuff I wanted to point out. Just like if we were in class, you would read them and I would talk about them. So, the first document we're going to go over is the Facebook and job searching. Many people have a Facebook, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will tell you, as somebody who hires, people that hire go on and search Facebook. So, unless it's private, and sometimes even if it is private, they can see what's going on. So, what this recommends is make sure that whatever you have on your Facebook is something that's okay for your employer to see. I will be very honest with you. I started teaching when I was 18 years old, and granted, there was no Facebook or even MySpace at that point. There was really not much we had on the internet, but I'm very thankful for that because I was 18 and there was a time when you would see me doing non-professional things at local clubs and so forth. So, um, that being said, your typical director would not want to hire or keep somebody like that. So, this is really important. There's some really good tips on here. Some are very obvious. Some like don't post anything you wouldn't want your employer to see. So maybe that time you're putting back shots or, doing a beer bong, whatever it may be. Um, just anything. Anything you would not want your employer to see, those are the things you don't post. Same with comments, even if they're not from you. Okay, comments from other people on your Facebook totally tell employers who you hang around, which tells them a lot about who you are. So that's really important. Also, if people take photos of you and they're not the most favorable ones, you want to untag yourself from those very quickly. I believe there's even settings you could do that to not show tagged pictures or get a permission before tagged pictures come out. Because I know sometimes, I live a private life and then somebody tags something that I did that is not bad, but it may look bad if you don't know the circumstances around it, and it just doesn't look good. All right, so same with your wall. Remove comments. You also want to look at apps. What kind of apps do you have? What kind of things do you like? I love, I love this part about what groups are you a member of. If you belong to a group that is, it's 5 a.m. I'm drunk it on Facebook, it's probably not something good that you want your bosses to see. That's not going to get you a job. All right. So, some basic tips here. Make sure only your friends can see your photos. Make sure only your friends can see your religious and political views. Even though that shouldn't make an effect as to where you work, it could. Same with your posts and your privacy settings. You can make those private, okay? So, that is the recommendation of this. I highlighted some of the main ones, but this is really important, you guys. My Facebook, really, there's nothing wrong with it, but just for ethical purposes, I keep my personal Facebook private just because one day if I'm feeling really, really down or something, just sad about something in life, there's no reason that you guys as my students should know that because that's a difference between personal life and work life, Work life, I come here, I'm your teacher, and I do my job. So think about ethics when you think about this as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one, and I love, love, love this handout. I'm going to see if I can make this guy bigger so that we can go through some of this. But this is stuff about a job interview, and really, for you guys, it is not too hard to get a job because there's such a need out here for you guys to, let's see if I can get this bigger, whole page bigger. There's such a need for you guys to be out there, and to be getting jobs. All right, let me see. I'm trying to make this bigger because there's some really good stuff on here. All right. When you have a job interview, it says, this is one of my favorites right here. I don't know if you can tell, but at the top with the timer it says 33% of bosses claim that they knew within the first 90 seconds if they would hire somebody. And usually that's the case with me, I can tell you that. All right, I'm going to let you read this yourself because you guys are all grown adults, but I want to pick out some big ones here to kind of note to you. I want you to notice eye contact is very important. These are common nonverbal mistakes that are made. 67% say they don't hire people because there's no eye contact. That's huge. Um, Things that do make an impact is the way we dress, act, and walk. I do remember when I first started teaching college, I was very, very against the fact that my eyebrow ring was not appropriate, and the fact that I had tattoos was not appropriate. It was not professional. I was like, that doesn't change the fact I have a master's degree and great experience. But one thing I had to learn is that's the way the world works. When you first meet somebody, you do not see post-it notes put all over them with all their qualifications. When you guys first walk into a classroom on the first day, you don't see master's degree, taught children for 10 years, worked with NACI for so long, blah, blah, blah. You don't see that about me. All you see is the way I look, which is why I dress professional here, and which is why I chose to take my eyebrow ring out when I came here. So the way you look, the way you dress, the way you walk, that's very, very important. And another one here, this is interesting. 70% of employers claim they don't want to see fashionable or trendy. That's fashionable or trendy. That's stuff you can get out once you get hired. But before you get hired, you've got to prove yourself to be professional and good. We want to see you looking professional. Okay, that's not the time to wear your Bob Marley t-shirt and jeans. That's the time to wear some slacks or something that looks fairly nice. All right, again, 65% when it comes to clothes say clothes could be a deciding factor. Isn't that interesting? So, granted, in our field, we're not wearing slacks and dresses and so forth, but it is good to wear something nice like khakis and a button-up shirt, something that makes you look presentable and that you care about what you're doing. All right. So, I'm going to let you read over the bottom. These are really, really, really great. But one thing I want you to notice is the 5 questions most likely to be asked. They're going to ask you about your experience where you were at before. And it's okay to say the truth. If it was a really bad school, you can say, it wasn't a quality environment like it portrayed itself to be, and I want to work in a quality environment, okay? Um, so people want to know the truth. One of my best adjunct professors here, right here at TCC Portsmouth, she had left her job, 2 jobs right before this one, and a lot of people would have just said moving on. But I asked her, I said, what happened? And she told me, and let me tell you, I can totally relate and know it was exactly the truth. So she still got hired, and she is one of my best. All right, so why do you want to work for us? You'll hear that sometimes. So it's important to actually research where you're going, okay? Every cover letter I've ever written, I've actually read at the website. When I came to work here, I was asked how I was going to carry out the mission of TCC, so I was required to actually know the mission of TCC. Again, what do you know about our company? And last, why did you leave your last job? And again, that is something important to tell the truth. You know, they weren't paying me enough to pay my bills, and I feel like what I do working with children is very important. I understand there's not a lot of money in it, but I feel like I could have been getting more. That's okay to be honest, okay? And lastly, tell me about yourself. And that's where you sell yourself. You say all that awesome stuff about who you are. And I'm sorry, if you're at Portsmouth, then you're awesome. All right, so that's our second handout. I'm doing this way quicker. Normally we do this in an hour. All right, last handout is thank you notes. You're going to be required to do a thank you note when you finish. You actually get a grade for this. You get a grade split between this and the evaluation the teacher does on you. So whatever teacher you're working with is going to do an evaluation on you, and then that's going to be 1 grade. So with your thank you note, we know it's essential because 1, it shows that we are actually thankful for all that they've done for us. And your teachers are doing quite a bit for you, letting you come in the classroom, working with you, and so forth. But they're also helping you learn a lot of new things, and I know that's the truth after reading all your journals, which is amazing. This is one of my favorite classes to see growth in students. It's really, really fun. But also you want to thank them for their time. You also want to thank them for what they've taught you. You want to be specific. So also, thank you note shows you care. You care enough to take the time to do it, which also often gets you a job if you haven't already been asked if you'd work there. Okay, so right here, you're going to notice the traditional thank you note takes the form of handwritten. That's what I like you to do, if it can be legible, because it's more personal. You just, write it on a note card, write it on a piece of paper. However you want to do it is fine. It should be appropriate, and you should, thank them for all those things we just talked about, their time, what they taught you, and specifically, maybe name 3 things, that you learned from that teacher. Thank you so much for teaching me wonderful classroom management strategies. I was really wanting to learn that in the beginning, and you've really taught me more than I could ever have wanted to learn. Also, I really appreciate the way that you taught me how to hold an effective circle time. I always learned about that in class, but watching it in person made it so much easier for me to think I can be more confident in doing. Lastly, I'm really thankful for the fact that you sat down with me and talked to me when I had questions about things. That was really nice of you, and I know you didn't have to do that. So, there's an example, okay? Um, Lastly, let's see. What you're going to do is, as soon as you finish your hours, you're going to go ahead and do this thank you note. You're going to turn your thank you note into me, which is going to be addressed already in an envelope to the teacher. And you're going to have your return address with your name and the college's address, which you'll see is in the assignment packet. So you'll turn it into me so I can give you credit, and then I'll mail it off to them. But you want to do that as soon as you're done. And this is going to just make a great impact. I love hearing directors say, oh, we got a thank you note. We always get them from your students. We love it. All right. So that's it. I feel like this is a really important part of this class. It may seem silly. You may think, oh my gosh, let's just get our lesson plans and be done. But the Virginia Community College System learning outcomes on the front of your lesson syllabus are actually really important things that we do to kind of send you off in style so you know everything you're supposed to do. And I think these are very valuable handouts that I handpicked. So that is our class today. Next week we are going to be online as well. We're going to top off communication and networking by talking about professional organizations. So what you're actually going to be doing is watching a video of me giving you a tour of NACCE, which if you've had me before, you probably had the tour. And you're going to do something really cool. You're going to annotate it. Meaning, as you go through the video, you're going to make notes of how it's applicable to you. Don't worry, I'll give you directions. It's really, really cool. And then after that, so that week is March 4th. After that, we have spring break. And then the following week, which is, week 9 and March 18th, we will have class again in class where I'm going to teach you how to use Pinterest for your career in education, how to find lots of cool websites. Also, your journal week 9 is due. So that brings us up to par. Please give me a call or an email if you have any questions. Since the college is closing at 5, I will probably be going, within a few hours. So email me and I can always get that. I'll be working from home. So I hope you guys are having a good one, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.